every challenge and every such type of issues helps you in building your abilities, competence, and provide you an exposure of, and it gives you learning. So integrity means honesty in all actions.
For today's episode on Success Documented, we have Mr. Satish Jajoo. With over 35 years of experience in the corporate, Mr. Satish has served under various roles in the Aditya Birla Group, including COO of Hindalco and CMO of UltraTech Cement, amongst others. He currently serves as an independent board director in KSRM Industries. How are you today?
Fine. Harsh.
Good to have you on the show. So, just starting off, could you tell us a little about your childhood and how you think it impacted your journey in the corporate?
Oh, it's long. Uh, See, my childhood was spent in Andhra Pradesh, and where my father was working, and I did my schooling there. And from there, I moved for my graduation in Nagpur. I did my BCom, and then I was interested in doing CA. So I joined SB Bilmori and Company for my articles at Hyderabad. And then I did my CA and completed my CA in 1983. So I graduated in 1970. I passed out from school in 1974, graduated from college in 1978, and passed my CA in 1983.
Mhm.
And as you know, we are from average family, and this is how I uh, did my qualification and education complete. And then thereafter, I got in touch with, before my CA result came, I got in touch with the president of Star Products Limited.
Mhm.
And he offered me, and he told me that why not you join us as management training. And I joined there as management training. I was there with, say, for 6 months. And as soon as my result came of CA, then, I was continuing there. I did my orientation, and that gave me a good experience and exposure to the, good organization and good manufacturing setup.
Mhm.
It was a paper plant, and by name Star Products Limited.
Okay.
So this is all about my initial part of from schooling till joining the in the corporate world as, and thereafter I think how I joined Aditya Birla Group.
Mhm.
So I got in touch with one of the senior topmost executive in Calcutta. And at that time, in my family, my uncle, my father, they were in senior position in different companies. And they happened to know uh, senior executive by name Mr. MC Pagdodia. And I used to hear about him from them. And when I was in articles, I was doing my articles and pursuing my CA.
Mhm.
So I, was in touch with corporate who is doing what and which are the industrial group corporates. So at that time there were very limited, few good corporates, and among them the name was like Tata, Birlas, and in Birlas it is Aditya Vikram Birla Group was the most prominent and most rising, and the senior executive Mr. MC Bagdodia, who happens to be the top executive of Aditya Birla. So meeting with him, interacting, it was an informal meeting. So when he was told that I had completed my CA, so he offered me, and he said, "Why not would you be interested to join Aditya Birla Group?" And coming from him and knowing about him from my family members, I said, immediately I said yes, I will join.
Mhm.
I'm interested. And he told me, and we did not talk too much about what it is. It's not like the current system of I interviewing, meeting, and talking to the different levels, and then getting selected. But since he was a great leader and top executive, when he offered, I said yes. So he said, ki, okay, meet me at Nagda. So I thought probably, he said ki I can join at Nagda. So I submitted my resignation at JK Pur
Oh.
and Star Products,
Uh-huh.
and went to Nagda, where my uncle was also there in different company. So after reaching, and I met him, I said ki I've come here. Then he inquired. I said ki I resigned and I come here. Oh, you resigned? Okay. So now you go and meet the finance manager there, and he will talk to you. I said, see, I've already resigned from there, and now he's saying
No
you go and
guaranteed job.
talk.
Yeah.
Anyway, I said, ki fine. So it was a brief formal discussion with the finance manager. And then later on, he confirmed that, ki, okay, you have been selected and you joined. And at that point of time, I joined as a head of accounts in the caustic soda plant at Nagda. And he was the CEO of caustic soda plant sitting in Bombay and managing, along with this unit, several other business units of Aditya Birla Group. So, so that was how I joined, Aditya Birla Group. And at Nagda, under his leadership, under his direct, say, as a CEO. And then I continued there for a long period, say something about 14 years at Nagda. And that journey was of 14 years was very exciting, because then I could experience Mr. Bagrudia's, leadership style, qualities. And when whatever I heard about him, I was experiencing it. And everybody was so, people were longing to work with him. So I was really fortunate. And then as a personality and leader, he was very clear in his expectation, because under him and under Mr. Vikram Birla, the group was growing leaps and bounds at that point of time also. So since he was looking after several businesses, so people under him were moving from one business to another. So in a brief period of 1 or 2 months, he made his expectation very clear to me that, the finance manager who is your boss will be moved to other units and you will have to be ready to take charge from him. So it was a complete business, that finance, accounts, or commercial strategy, plan, everything which comes under the domain of finance manager. So that was his style, managing, making play, knowing about his expectation. And then he was always taking care of, inquiring about me, how I'm adopting it, how I'm growing, I am getting groomed, you know, and whatever discussion used to happen with my finance manager and him, I was always a party. And he used to ensure that, I should be there, because I need to step in. So at that early age of, say, something about 25, 27 years old, I could get that opportunity of leading a department, people. And then thereafter, as the time passed by, newer opportunity, newer roles, newer, and many things happens. And from head of accounts to head of finance and commerce, then being part of all the planning, budgeting, MIS, strategic decision, part of the review with him, with the team of that plant, and also the chairman on periodic review as and when it happens, along with the other team members. So that is how, the time passed, new competence, new skills, new knowledge was attained, and I was getting groomed by taking newer responsibilities and newer functions. So all these things happened, but it took time. I need to maintain my patience. I need to keep my patience, keep learning, doing something better along with the team. And in that role also there were challenges at that time. It was not that it was an accounts or finance, but it was full of opportunities. And with that, my Mr. Bagrodia and as a CEO, you know, he was a person who was giving a lot of freedom to act, a lot of empowerment, open to ideas, and then uh, very sensitive to, when we see about him, and many things to learn from him, from being associated, experiencing how he's talking, how he's meeting, how he's across people, and different levels of people. So this was very all, I'm happy, and I was really privileged that I got that opportunity of working under him, learning a lot, seeing his style. And people were, were, I would say, longing to always interact, meet. And I was having, he was not there all the times. He used to come once in a week, Saturday, and his, you know, all the great qualities of a leader we can see.
For
Whether
example, what qualities would those be?
Qualities, if you say, there were several, but among that, very सबसे पहले तो I think he was a great human being, and with a lot of empathy, caring people, and you know taking care of their well-being. Then he was a very result-oriented man of, business acumen was very strong, and his understanding of the business was absolutely, because he was very senior, looking after so many businesses. The way in which he used to interact, communicate, review, business acumen, like management information system, uh, his grip on the details of the business, and how he can, how he's listening to the people's idea, open to ideas, giving, motivating people to do something better and take on the new challenges. And the business was also going up and down because of the changes, because it was a caustic soda plant. At that time, it was a regulated license Raj and this. But within that, because the group was growing, and he was the person, to lead that growth by chemicals. So he has a big team of new projects and different businesses. And we were lucky that he is still overseeing that business, because he set up that business along with Mr. Aditya Vikram Birla. So when Mr. Aditya Vikram Birla he got that opportunity by his by his grandfather to set up a new business, and he set up this caustic soda plant in somewhere in 72, and Mr. Bagrodia was the CEO, and I joined in 1983.
Okay.
And then we continued, and at that time, so many great qualities, very difficult to narrate each and every, but he was,
Integrity.
integrity was superb, totally committed to the group values, to the high level of integrity, high level of commitment. Result orientation was fantastic. And more so, I think his, touch with the people, his encouragement, motivation, and, helping whenever there is a problem or when there is a situation, guide and mentor and help the team, and always open up. His approachability was fantastic. Any person can approach, and he is available whenever he is there. And even in Bombay, if somebody wants to meet, he will find time to meet depending upon his engagement. But very nice, simple gentleman and a nice human being, besides being a great leader from the in the company and in the organization, and as a top executive of the Aditya Birla Group. His relationship management with the people, external customer centricity, meeting with customer, all relationship management was excellent across different stakeholders. So I think there are many qualities. These are some of the things which I try to try to emulate and try to practice. And to some extent, yes, it has an influence on me. I know he very quiet person, less of man of few words, and uh, I did not see him any time that he's very much disturbed or he's raising his voice. Absolutely never. In spite of having all these things, but he's with calmness, he used to hear, he used to guide, he used to tell and make his point very clear what his expectations are. And then, people were very comfortable to give their 100%. And because he is the lead by example, no? He was, he walks the talk, he is led, simplicity was superb, nobody can match. And the business acumen and intelligence level, he was a technocrat. And with commercial acumen was superb and great. So that was all about my and my association with Aditya Birla Group. And then in later part of this, my stay at chemical division, as I was getting older with the group and then grooming myself or going up the level. Then as at that time it was not a very so systematic HR processes, but still it was
for the time.
At that time. So there was a concept of talent management, but not in the name of talent management, but they were grooming talents. They're identifying the talent, grooming them, making them ready. And one of the quality was, Mr. Bagrodia was developing people, developing leaders for future. And that is how, qualified people, CAs, MBAs, and at that time, during my time, there were not too many CAs in each unit. But so that is how CAs were also, they were preferring CAs. And he used to say, and another good quality, he makes it a point to introduce to the chairman.
Okay.
And if somebody is doing good, while he motivates and he appreciates and he will see that he takes it and escalate it even to the next level if it is worthy of
Comment.
uh, informing him or making him aware of that. And whenever the chairman visits, Mr. Aditya Vikram Birla visits the plant or once in a year or at whatever frequency, then he used to take care to introduce them, all the CAs or the people, good people, engineers who are doing good performance and doing good in their career with the company. And so he used to introduce to them. So that is how he was doing the development, talent management, talent. And then in the process of talent management and talent grooming, newer responsibilities were also being assigned. It was not like current system, if it is a functional led finance and commerce, he will always be in functional led. Mostly, generally. There could be an exception. If he's a marketing person, he will always look into marketing.
Yeah, you went from chartered accountant to finance, marketing,
so
operations.
When I was in chemical division, I was CA. I did not have any other experience. I did not do MBA. But then and since beginning, I had a desire of not being a functional head. I had a desire that I would be like a CEO, because in my family, I've seen our family members in the role of CEO. And during my articles period, I've seen in different companies, the CEO role so I was fascinated, and I was always in my mind that my future, I would be intending to be a CEO. So that kept me always interested to see what opportunities I can take, I can, ask for. And fortunately for me, with people, leader like Mr. Bagdodia, I used to get that opportunity. So along with my finance and traditional finance and commercial role, I used to get, the marketing of value-added products, of chlorine neutralization, and so that is how. And then meeting with, the chairman, in participating in reviews, decision making, strategic decisions, and so that is how I was groomed. And then I I was groomed in the capacity, say, as a potential unit head. And at that time, unit head was like a P&L's leader in the current environment. So we used to call them, and people were called as unit head, that is P&L head. So I was sent for some, training courses after 90s. And then once I was ready, then I was also interested, and then I got the opportunity to move as a CEO role of Grasim Cement in 1998.
Right.
So this is, and from 1998, then my career was different. It was all in the role of CEO or CXO. So, and again, I was also uh, flexible in my movement, because every time it gives me an opportunity of doing things differently. So I was there for in cement as a CEO, Raipur plant, Grasim Cement, for something about 2 years or so. Then once it became a unit and it got integrated, there was a cement integration. So it became a manufacturing vertical, and then it was functional manufacturing. Then I wanted to be uh, not only with respect to manufacturing domain. So I said, okay, I need to move. And I got again an opportunity to move to as a P&L head of white cement at different place. So from there, that time onwards, something 2000 onwards, my business leaders also started changing. So till 2000, 1999, from 83 to 1999, my business leader was Mr. MC Bagrodia. After 1999, my business leader started changing with the change in the business. And I was also moving, say, from Grasim cement to white cement, that is Birla White. After 4 years, I was moved by the group to Indogul Fertilizer to provide again a different exposure of so-called treasury, board, and besides the other. Then after being there for 2.5 to 3 years, it became a part of the Indian Rayon. Then I was moved to another challenging assignment, and I was moved to so-called gas-based sponge iron in Alibag, Maharashtra. So I was there for about 3 years. It was having a different challenges, and it was a standalone unit, and there was no plan to expand that unit. So during my time, it got divested also. So that exposure of divestment, and then I got this opportunity of being as CMO of UltraTech, Chief Marketing Officer of UltraTech. And after that, I was Chief Marketing Officer of UltraTech for something about 4 years. And then I got the opportunity of leading this in the role of Chief Operating Officer in Hindalco. I continued there for about 5, 6 years. and then I retired in December 2020. So this is all about my 35, 37 years of service career with Aditya Birla Group.
That's very interesting. So you told us about your journey with the Aditya Birla Group, and you've changed so many roles in different sectors, different positions. So how do you adapt to these new working environments, working with different people each time and in different roles in different sectors?
See, as I told, I spent long period of 14 years at one place, so that was simple. Then I started moving from different places, like in Chhattisgarh. Then, but at that time also I was reporting to one leader, that is Mr. MC Pakdodia. Then I started moving, as I said, to different places. But one thing I did not find so much, adaptability was not the major concern. The simple reason was, the group systems, processes, and the binding force, what we call it values, group values, they were common.
Coffee. Okay.
Only the business situation was different, the customers were different, people were different, but the business culture, the organization culture was more or less same, because the binding force was our group values. So it was not that every time, every place, people have a different culture, different settings, and different work environment. Yes, work environment changes because of the nature of the business, but not as a work culture. Work culture is more or less same. It is the leader how to penetrate that culture and how to build that organization to the next level on that, on our group values, because it was in the formative stages. It was not. So that came to my help. And one of the essential requirement of our group values, and there were 5 values. So can I cover that?
Yeah, that would be great.
So the group values, they're very important, even in the current context also. And we are still, the Aditya Birla Group still continues to practice same. So, and there were one of the values, there were 5 values. One is integrity. A broad term, there is a proper definition explaining what integrity means. It's not what we understand integrity, honesty, that is one critical part. So integrity means honesty in all actions. Whatever function, whatever actions a person and manager, it's with full honesty and full. So one is integrity, which is very important, and which is a very important. So whatever, like all the leaders with whom I worked in the group, I see this is right from the chairman to all the business leaders. This integrity is very, the key traits of the leadership. Second was commitment. Delivering on promises, the brief, but commitment, what we say, giving your 100%, remain committed, whatever promise, delivery on promise, whatever promise to internal customer, to external customers, to all the stakeholders, whatever, as an organization, we are committed to deliver in as per the need and whatever is our promise. So commitment. Then third was passion.
Okay.
We all understand, all people in the current time and from those times. So passion, which is energized action, which binds people, which creates the energy in all our actions. So passion, doing something, innovative, creative thinking, and, continuous improvement. So it all comes from
Doing something because you want to.
yes, and there is a passion, you want to achieve something, and doing things differently, scaling to the newer heights in a, so that we can differentiate, as because in almost all the businesses what the Aditya Birla Group had they were also the market leaders, business leaders. So in the capacity of leader and wherever, and there one of the aspiration of the group was that always needs to be market leader or industry leader. So that was, and what we see, all we have heard, or all it is there in the groups. From that time onwards, we say we would like, the group would like to be number one, two, three, top three of the. And they were already the multinational, Indian multinational, only Indian multinational. So that was the standing of Aditya Birla Group, at least what uh, uh, since the time we started getting associated with the group in 1980. They were before, but I so it was integrity, commitment, passion. Then comes speed. Speed in is what we feel. It speed gives all aspects of the leadership. Agility, you need to be proactive, you need to be working to get all that thing, speed in action without following, delivering all our promises with speed to the customer, and internal and external. So speed in all actions.
Okay.
Then last one was seamlessness.
Okay.
Seamlessness means, open communication, transparent communication, boundaryless organization, not working in silo, sharing each other, sharing the good practices, leveraging expertise within the group because of the multi-unit, multi-business group. So all these things helps to bind, unite, share, learn from each other. So these were the few our group values were so powerful. So our effort was that we try to practice it, implement it, live by it, and then see how we can, the important aspect is you need to, if it is to be effective, and then you need to lead by example, walk the talk also, because otherwise if you are not, then it is very obvious in your behavior. And if you are not serious or you don't walk the talk, then building culture around values, and building culture means all the people at all levels, we need to get aligned around our values, group values, and taking the best out of it, and so this was the reinforcing uh, thing, and it helped me to adopt the situation, to take the people, and all the good practices which are already built in the group values, and the group, all the leaders were aware of it, they were advocating it, the group was subscribing it and championing it. So our effort, my effort in particular as a C in the capacity of CEO or whichever role, say ki yes, I need to be in alignment with that. So that means, first if we talk about the, you know, personal trait, integrity and commitment.
Yeah.
That was, we learned it, we practice it over the last so many years and we have seen our leader like Mr. MC Bagdodia, and I got inspired. Ki yes, this is a great virtue and I need to keep practicing it and keep honing it, and to the best of my ability, I need to, do whatever best I can do. So integrity was perfect alignment with my own personal value system. Commitment, man of, hardworking, and that was there because I have seen it, and I have in my family as well as my leader and the team around him. So I've seen the importance and I developed that and I practice it. So that was nothing.
So it wasn't challenging.
It was not, yes, too much challenging. And fortunately, I have the full support of my family also. So but then, hardworking, giving your 100%, and being in alignment, that was more important. Not long hours of working.
Okay. Yeah, that's very interesting.
So after that, then comes the processes, the systems and processes, like whether, and passion was again a virtue. You need to be passionate, you need to be thinking creatively. And I'm the believer of that. It's a strong belief in all these systems. So always, I was open to uh, attempting new things, doing things differently, accepting challenge whenever the business challenge arises in my function, in my role. So that was very exciting, and every challenge and every such type of issues helps you in building your abilities, competence, and provide you an exposure of, and it gives you learning. You learn something out of it. So this was again the third virtue, which personal, you need to live by it. You need to demonstrate, you need to walk the town and motivate people, help people, support people, advocate. And then, and these three values, integrity, commitment, people will love it, because it is all good for them, whosoever are working in the respective roles. So after that, then the system and processes, when we said ki speed and seamlessness, then we had a system, group system, group processes. And if there is no alignment or people deviate, then it is our job as a leader to bind them, to guide them, to support and practice and help each other. So internal customization, customer centricity, people centricity, people processes were good, but execution, implementation, helping, grooming people, providing a job opportunities, empowering them at the business level, down the, say, below my levels, and all were at different levels. And these, the beauty of this value is that it is applicable to all.
Yeah.
It is not only for business leader or a CEO or the functional head. It is everyone, because each and every person is manager in his own role, in some way.
Yeah.
He is looking after, even if he's not a manager, he is one person doing his own work. He still needs to have that mindset that, he is important to an organization, he has to contribute.
He starts to manage himself.
Yes. And so all these values helps us in keeping a good alignment with the business. It helps us to improve his performance, deliver results, and he is confident that he will get support because of the culture, because of the. So, this seamlessness, boundaryless organization, accessing people, approaching people, team working, working together, leveraging each other's strength, you know, thinking new, thinking different, challenging, respecting each other's point of view, and encourage different viewpoints, and providing feedback. So these were some of the good processes of the group, and they were in different stages. All were not perfect, and they were not complete. It was evolving, and it is, there is no definite timeline, that because there is always a scope of improvement and taking to the next level. So I think this is one thing which I say ki this helped me a lot at all places. And it was, since people were aware and this is a common language, and if a leader comes and he doesn't practice, then it becomes a confusing thing for them. But so long as there is a good alignment at the CEO with his own personal values and the organizational values, he reflects it, he practices it, and it is seen by the others, lead by example or walk the talk, then I think it becomes more authentic. You become, your so-called, you can reflect, people can see the genuinity in that. And Another good thing which I practice, I learned, and again in my formative stage of career period of 14, 15 years with Mr. Bakrodia, was humility. So, in spite of having such a large, at top position, at being such a senior leader of the group, his humility was significant. So I said, approachability, humility, and simplicity in all. So we try to, at least I try to practice that to the best extent possible. I may not be, but that helps in reaching out to people with, and doing whatever things, not in that great way, but in whatever way which, and every interaction with the people, every interaction at any situation, if you're, what I recommend and what I practice or what I learned, if you're conscious of it, if you're, embrace the self-awareness that yes, you are doing good. If you're not doing good, there is a gap, but you are self-aware, you will tend to improve it further.
Yeah, how can I do?
Yes, how can I do? Because that's a desire, and every time, because in when we are working with this, there is always, and this organization culture in this Aditya Birla Group, what we are seeing, there is a drive and quest to excel. It was never that we are doing great. Every time the culture was there, whatever we are doing, there is still an opportunity. So benchmarking, doing better than what we are, and remaining ahead of the time. So there were all these things I've seen people practicing, and under that environment, I got groomed, and the leadership, the qualities or the leadership traits got developed, seeing and practiced. And when we practice it, we were getting in, interested कि yes, it is helping me to deliver, achieve performance, and do. So it was encouraging to practice more and more and more. So these are some of the facilitating factors. And since beginning, at least when I joined the group, I've seen and I heard from the people, the group was known for his, control on the cost, system management, system perfection. The group has a very good system, financial prudence, financial management, and cost management. Since, you know, ages,
Yeah.
it's not only from 80s. It is the, DNA of this Aditya Birla Group. And they inherited from their predecessors like Mr. G.D. Birla or their. So, but the only thing with different businesses, the business situation was different. They were not alike. The group structure, the group processes, people, the approaches and systems were more or less similar. People were trying to, with some adaptation as per the business need, but the what I said, the group values and system around it and the practices around it was more or less it. The challenge was how to make it more perfect and how to take it to the next level and keep improving.
So from what I got from what you said, number one, there were constant values across the group. So for any business that wants to have, employee motivation or efficiency and employee working, they should have set values that everyone follows from the lowest to the highest level.
Yeah.
And second thing is,
and then the value document, which is known to all. It is not with few people in the management. It is a public, matlab is accessible to all. There is certain things it has been described as what is non-conformance.
okay,
So it has given that non-conformance, if it is that, and non-conformance around all stakeholders, including employees. So it's such a very beautiful document, comprehensive document. And, people, if when we practice it consistently, that was a challenge. Every time, all the time, you need to be in alignment with that. So sometimes, people have to, it is humanly not possible to be always because of different situation. But that was the challenge, how we remain consistent at all times in even all situation. So that come by practice. So because we laid down the non-conformance, it becomes easier for the people, and the environment was such people can say, oh, there is a non-conformance, this is not going along with what we are talking, what is said, what is the group philosophy. So that gives the help to the people also too.
Yeah. And that combined with constantly wanting to learn more,
Yeah.
wanting to improve, that allowed you to, go from different jobs in different industries in different roles and still perform in each one. That's very interesting.
And along with the people,
Along with
taking the people, working together, helping them, supporting them. And another which I learned during my this initial career, belief in the people.
Okay.
So I've seen the responsibility what I got in spite of being a chartered accountant and this, I was getting different new roles, new idea, business opportunities, whatever, it was possible.
Yeah.
Not key, that were main functions, but some of the things to provide an exposure I was getting. Marketing of small products, developing first of its kind and all that. So belief in the people is also important. And during my role, like at different businesses, the same team, the same group of people, the same people, I think they delivered superior results with the support. And you need to make them aware, you need to communicate with them, you need to uh, explain them, communicate them that this is the business changes, this is the business environment change, this is the requirement, this is how it can. Then together people can come out with ideas and some support, whatever is required, guidance, this, that if something useful can come. And that is how, if there was a challenge in a different business, knowing, so that helped me.
Yeah.
And since I was moving from different businesses, like, from one product to another product, one market to another market, though the team, your learning ability, your adaptation, so learn from the people, understanding, and within the same context, what I said, same framework, it helped. And that is how, uh, it became always a very interesting engagement experience. And fortunately, in all the roles with the people of this and businesses, we could take the business to a newer heights along with the same, doing newer things, different things as per the business requirement, and along with our different business leaders. Of course, the guidance, their abilities, their direction, they were available to us. But that is all together we could do that.
That's very interesting. You already told us a lot about how the Aditya Birla Group operated in terms of taking care of their employees and stuff like that. But I just wanted to touch upon that a bit more. You were the COO of Hindalco, and you must have dealt with so many people in that role. What have you learned about human nature, and how do you, get the best out of your employees, cohesiveness, etc.?
See, my experiences, and not only in Hindalco, at every place, because dealing with people is more or less same everywhere. And people expectations are not changing. They are generally common, similar expectations, whether it's small or big, or because the levels are different. So there are different people at different levels with different set, uh, there are workmen, then there are, qualified staff, then there are managers, and then there are senior managers. So these are it's a question of the size and the dimension of the operation. But people remain, instead of having 5 people in some organized, some places or some units, I will have 10, 15, 20. So it's size and dimension. So my take is one has to be credible. So, and you need to be, as I said during, my, other previously that, our group values or my personal values. Every time if I say group values, I need to, my personal values also need to be aligned. Then only I can practice. If my personal values are different than my group values, probably I cannot do justice to that. I cannot be so uh, effective in its implementation. So one is, when we talk something, we need to live by it. We need to walk the talk, demonstrate this, and you need to be credible. So that is that helps. So, and then you need to be, like I said, you need to be approachable. So accessible, approachable, not every time, but in case of need, if there, you need to be supportive. You have a system, there are managers, there are organizations set up. It is not always the CEO, it is the process, it is the culture which helps people to achieve that. And again, in line with this, our group values and our own value system, we need to be, I've seen that, you need to be appreciative of what they are doing. And if they are doing good job and good performance, appreciate. If you want some improvement, communicate. If they want help, understand and provide, facilitate and guide. So they will come. But, it is, and if you do it, then, people will do their best, will come forward and will perform. And sometimes you will get surprised by the performance because they exceed your expectation. And so the normal expectation is communicate effectively, have open communication, and reach out to them or provide access to them and understand. And as I said, I've seen, if you take care of growth, because people in the organization, whatever level they are, they aspire for growth. Growth has a different dimension and a different meaning. If at workman level and for the organization also is required. If there is a workman, then the organization needs skill development. He needs to be making it much more productive. Provide the new methods, new techniques, new things, and it helps him to improve his working, his productivity. And so similarly, even the qualified person, the graduates, the other technical person, continuous training, enhancing their ability, enhancing their skill, making them more proficient in whatever work they do. I think, yes. So it helps and it excites, it builds in their interest. And after doing all this, and when they see their managers committed, hardworking, sincere, and they also reflect in their own work without, I don't think people have to be told about you need to be, you are not serious, you please do. I think it's the culture which helps, and people are normally good people, genuine, they tend, they want to contribute. So this is, and once you acknowledge, once you appreciate, once you motivate and extend support, you know they become, their productive level goes up. They are more engaged with the organization, more engaged with your entire system. And then that is what an organization requires. And once that engagement is at a high level, then you give any challenge, people will come together with the support of, and with the guidance, people will come together and make it success. So acknowledging, appreciating, guiding, support, constantly their own personal renewal in terms of skill enhancement, training, learning, providing platform. And then if once at work, if you take care of their work conditions, work condition, I mean, taking care of their physical infrastructure, physical working style. If there is a possible of improvement, you are taking care. So to make the job easier, l- if it is or less time consuming, they would welcome.
Yeah.
And then small facilities. So that I would call it, if you all these things I can sum it up like caring people. If you have a caring attitude towards people in doing small things, and you are sensitive about their well-being, not only at work, after work also, because we live uh, in a family-like environment, like colonies,
Yeah.
with attached with each plant. So besides work, then when they go to the homes, I think we always say that they need to return safe. That was our uh, each and every employee has to return safe next day and return happy.
Yeah.
So if we that was if all the managers and the CEO believes in it, practice it, and the group processes facilitate in every organization. So then the situations are the people situation, and uh, the people attitude towards work, towards this, and the commitment and all that thing comes very
Yeah, that reminds me of this book. I don't know if you've read it, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. He says the same way, if you strike someone or strike a dog for doing something bad, it's the same thing in the opposite way as if you give the dog something to eat if they do something good. If you reward a good behavior, they'll do it again.
Yeah.
And if it's the same way as if you shout at a kid for doing something wrong. If you give them a chocolate for doing something good, they'll do it again. So if you reward good behavior in an organization, your employees will repeat it and they'll do better sometimes.
Yes.
Okay.
And then it becomes one like a chain effect. People around them see it, helps them, it motivates them, and that is what the role of a CEO, the role of a business leader, or the role of any manager who is working with his team is supposed to do. And if he's doing it, he becomes his own effectiveness increases. And another thing which I practice is like performance ethic.
Okay.
In the today's context, and when it is people, everyone there is performance ethic is important. One is culture. Yes, every organization wants result orientation. There are processes and methods of asking, or making the criterias of performance known to the people. There are processes like what you call it. Everyone has got their goals, objectives, and performance measurement and all that thing. But then in that process, one important thing is the feedback. So if you are giving a feedback, interact periodically, help them, probably they will appreciate.
Okay.
And they will see that yes, they will try their best to improve. So feedback, uh, one is seeking feedback. As a leader, for me, it was important for me that I seek feedback so that whatever is the gap, I improve. So that was my duty, my role, and my requirement to seek people at all levels, as and when required in my interactions, or as per the need or whatever is periodically. So that is one of the leadership quality which I try to hone, try to develop, and try to practice. Similarly, that is another role is giving feedback. It may the subordinates or the people in a constructive manner, and help extending an helping hand to them to improve the group processes, the HR department, the people, and every I believe in it. Every manager is an HR manager.
Okay.
It is not key few people in HR department takes care of, because that's one belief and I believe in it and I communicate it, and it's relevant. As a manager, I practice it. I found it relevant. So I say ki each and every manager is an HR manager for his. An HR manager role is every aspect of HR, whatever we discussed about, caring people at work, beyond work, and listening to them, giving a good. This is another one point. You need to be a good listener also, and encourage them a different viewpoint, so then they come out, they can express, and if you agree in a different way, communicate to them. They will be happy, but at least they are contributing. They feel. So this is another thing with respect to people. Giving a patient hearing, listening them, talking to them, approaching them, seeking feedback, providing feedback, helping them to improve, and taking care of them. Uh, Beyond after work also, in whenever we are in colony, taking care of their, whatever things one can do for their family, like education, children, facilities, so that they are. It's like happy living. So, uh, so these are some of the things for people related aspect. Uh, I learned that these are important, and one has to keep practicing. And once you are sensitive about it and conscious about it, I think then you will keep improving always together with the people.
So it would be genuine care. That would be the...
Yes.
That's very interesting. So you also had a role where you served as the CMO of UltraTech Cement. If you could tell us one of your main principles of marketing, what would that be?
Yes, as I said, I got the opportunity of leading a big marketing team and as a CMO of, and it was a functional role. So and leading that function of that size with large team of marketing professional, that was my first experience. But I had a flair towards marketing.
Okay.
In my role of uh, when I was a functional head at Nagda, I got the opportunity of doing marketing of some small products, and at that time they were small, and we call them a value-added products or chlorine utilization product. But there were one or two products the first of its kind in the country, and whether it is a small or big, you know, introducing a new product in the country first time, it has all we have to follow every aspect of it. So that gives me the interest in marketing, talking to people, meeting customer, understanding, because market is a place where you can think of new ideas, you can deliver new solutions, and you can interact with and deliver to the customers. So marketing was a matter of interest besides my so-called my own functional areas in the field of finance and commerce. Then continuing with that interest, I think significant a new milestone was achieved. And when I moved to different businesses, I got the opportunity of serving different markets, different set of customers, customer segment, market segments. And, in somewhere it was, retail marketing. It is not in some places it is B2C. In some places it is B2B. And in some businesses it is rural marketing. In some businesses it is, marketing within industrial marketing, and not B2C, industrial marketing, not the street segment like cement. So it gave me a different, but in the role of a CEO, and there were a marketing department, and they were leading the marketing things. But I meeting customer, understanding from them, then because it has an impact on the business, and business needs to start by understanding customer needs and customer requirement and deliver on that. That is how the success of the business. So when after completing all the my CEO, when I wanted to be, and because of my in Birla White, there was a business challenge. The demand of white cement was shrinking. The application in which the white cement was going was shrinking. So there was a need to grow the market, and the capacity utilization needs to enhance. There was under capacity utilization. So in the bid to increase the demand, the idea of developing new product came to my mind. But then it was we I followed a different route incidentally. So I used to see, what could be the product and how it could be. And cement has got a requirement key. It needs to be, cured with water. But curing water doesn't provide a flexibility and ease in applying. So with all this, whatever development we did, we developed a new product. Under my leadership in Birla White, which we call it a this Volcare putty. We gave the name of Volcare brand name, and it's a substitute of a conventional putty which was applied for surface finishing. And that's how at that time uh, ex- it went through a different stages of product development, and it became a successful product with the same team, with the same leveraging the people, existing people strengths, and falling back on customers, suppliers, and all that. So with that success and with whatever I got that opportunity that of leading that marketing team. But then at that time the volume was big. Now it has become very high. But at that time also it was a market leader. UltraTech was a market leader. We were present in all segments. It commanded a good brand equity, and it has a number one position in the market.
Okay.
But then in that position, when I took the role of his chief marketing officer, and my at that time, my predecessor, who was a chief marketing officer before me, he became the business head. So under him, I need to, perform that role along with the team. The only difference was, though we had a good position, good market standing, everything, but the competition was increasing.
Okay.
The volumes of our UltraTech volumes were increasing, the competitors' volume were increasing, and with demand supply fluctuation, the pressure on the volumes and the realization was quite obvious. So the challenge in that role was how to sustain your leadership position, your premium leadership position, price premium position in each segment of the market, and how to reach out. We did not go through, B2, B, not in institutional sales. That was a different vertical. It was a retail segment sales. So we need to go to the dealer and dealer to end consumer, and then so it was a. So in that, we need to be sustaining our leadership position. We need to be sustaining our price premium position, and it demands a lot. We need to leverage our existing strengths. We have good processes, good mark. That is how we, UltraTech as a number one leader. So my focus, along with the team, was how to penetrate further in the market. We have a system. We had, evolved systems, and then at that time it became IT enabled systems. So there were different good processes. So that enabled us to give good insights, good actioning, how to penetrate, how to reach out to different. Then penetration was easy. Dealer network was, one can do. Then meeting or delivering on to execution was important. Supply chain efficiency was important. Making the things delivered to the dealer or retailer so that he is always having the material and he can serve his end consumer properly.
Okay.
So that was the focus, and enhancing reach, going further as per our volume increase, and in whichever market we are not in number one as commanding a market leadership position, we are second, third, we need to attain that price premium position in those market segments and those market areas. So that was the thing which, and that good practices, whatever we had, we need to leverage it. We need to further, because competition is also copying. We need to see that we remain different. So differentiation led marketing. And second, value led marketing. We need to keep creating value for our end consumers and the people in all the partners in the supply chain. So this differentiation led marketing and value led marketing, you know, enables us to develop new practices or enhance our own effectiveness. And wherever there was a gap, we build on it by, putting all possible things, selecting right people, right dealer, improving them, helping them, our own team members, whatever support. And then in such type and role, responsiveness, reaction in the market, and not competing only on the price because it's a zero sum game. You need to ensure remain in, that is how I said, value led marketing. So we need to always seeing either, we create value by, and at the same time value, we need to also maintain our price premium position. So once price premium position, if there is we are delivering value, then even if he's paying a higher price, he's satisfied, the end consumer, because he has to pay little premium over the competition. But if you are getting a service, quality is one of the thing, but quality is given. It is expected that if a company like UltraTech is giving cement, it will be of good quality. But along with the quality, then it is the other services, the caring of customer, meeting customer need, responsiveness to the customer, that other customer centricity and taking care of the brand. So we used to, very sensitive about tracking our brand equity scores, our customer relationship, the customer loyalty, and ensuring that, the performance is always continuing and better, matching our volume requirement. And every time our size is growing, it's a constant growth we are having year after year. So accordingly, our, as per the market demand, the new people joining, making them effective. So these are some of the things which, so the focus was sustaining good practices, which facilitated our market premium position, price premium position, customer, relationship, customer loyalty. So those good practices and our needs to remain benchmarked and always ahead of the time, even if the competition copies, because it is easy for us, for the competitors in this, to emulate a leader and whatever best practices they see in the market. So we need to keep creating our best practices and keep differentiation in our own way, which is value adding to the consumer. It's not for the sake of creating differentiation. So, and then our own processes, there is again, the trust and the credibility is important. So if our channel partners, they trust us, whatever commitment, whatever assurance, whatever processes we have, they believe and they trust, then, it helps in bringing and sustaining the loyalty of the customer retention, consumer, and then the brand equity and all the customer equity goes up. And so this is, then I think with that increasing competition and evolving market, always, being different and leading, taking the, being ahead of the market as per our, group ethos, philosophy, what we sell, values and all that, and in the capacity of market leader. Then we evolved, the UltraTech who has evolved a new model like solution. uh, delivering building solutions.
Okay.
So it is creating value, adding value to the existing partners, and then adding services to the end consumer so that they can have all solutions at one place. And then there is a technical service which is provided by a technical wing of our marketing team.
Mhm.
They help the influencers, doers, and the end consumer in building their homes and whatever help and to see that the quality is available and they are happy.
Mhm.
So the new format was developed. It was like UltraTech building solution,
Mhm.
where few related products of building material, including services and solutions, were available to them. So that was the model, and it the focus was to keep adding more and more, keep adding more and more value to our channel partners, because it is through channel partners. So this was some of the things which uh, we did in the capacity of market leader in marketing, and I think we were largely successful. And besides the normal, supply chain was very critical in that, the logistics, supply chain,
Mhm.
and when the market and the competition increases, the cost focus increases,
Mhm.
the cost efficiencies in each and everything. It is not only the price. Sometimes when the price comes, then we need to see all wherever there are inefficiencies or wherever there are redundancies, we need to cut that and we need to optimize it. So logistic was a major cost.
Mhm.
So all the good practices of logistic, keeping uh, cost, selling closer, or whatever things are required to manage the logistic cost, supply chain efficiencies. So they were the best practices which keep evolving, relationship building. So all that thing areas were very of different scale
Mhm.
as compared to other businesses in UltraTech. And that was a very different experience and exciting one
Mm.
in the role of a marketing and for trade segment.
Oh.
We have an institutional segment separate, but for a trade, which is something about, at that time, if I remember right, it was something about 45 million tons of
Oh, wow.
per annum.
Uh-huh.
So that was a big capacity, and our presence was the entire market in each zone and every nook and corner.
Mhm.
So that was the situation I had in Birla White, but it was a very small volume.
Oh.
But they were present in throughout the country,
Mhm.
but very small volume as compared to UltraTech.
Mhm.
So this was my experience, and if I see, these are still people as a market leader, people always look for. Premiumization is one of the marketing
Mhm.
initiative which an market leader always aim to pursue it hard. So premiumization, that drives many good practices, and it is a difficult task to sustain it and keep oneself in a premium position, because you need to deliver value for that. You cannot just ask premium without delivering value.
No.
And value is not, it is both tangible and intangible values.
Mhm.
And then market reach, penetration, growth, and customer loyalty, customer retention. These are the marketing themes. And delivering, of course, right quantity in right time at right place as per the need, so that end consumer is also with you.
Mhm.
Otherwise, if you don't deliver it in time, he will go to other and buy it, because there is a lot of supply sources and lot many parties who can meet their demand.
Oh.
And besides the end consumer, then the influencers, the doers,
Mhm.
you need to have a very close connect and engagement with them, so that there is. So we used to measure the brand equity scores across segments.
Okay.
So these are some of the things which I learned,
Mhm.
and it added to my experience, and whatever best way one can contribute along with the team, because all my team members were seasoned marketing professionals in of cement. So it was a different experience, and it gave me lot many learnings, at least in this. Of course. So this is all about my.
That's like a
Anything?
mini marketing class you gave us. That was very interesting. It was like a mini marketing master class. You gave us so many knowledge points. That's very interesting.
So this is all the advantage of, if you're open to learn, open to your commitment, your drive for excellence,
Passion.
passion. So this makes it, otherwise one can feel it like, it's a troublesome.
Yeah.
It is, not so interesting. It is requiring, but you need to have good perseverance also.
Okay. Yeah.
And keep learning from. Yes, you will sometimes underperform, but then it helps you to learn and to move forward.
How to
And
not underperform next time.
yes,
Okay. Yeah.
so that makes and everywhere I think this helped me.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've already given us so many amazing pieces of advice: perseverance, passion, commitment, integrity, so many things. What would be your final piece of advice to any young aspirants and our viewers who want to be management experts like you?
See, uh, for young managers, and I see now the trend is different. I see many young people, if they are assuming the CEO position much earlier than what I could get that opportunity of being it. They are smart, they are well qualified, and they are quite ambitious. So the present people who are coming in CEO position and the current generation, they are different. In my view, they are very much different, and they have, I don't know, great abilities, because the education is different, the environment is different, the technology, the so-called the accessibility to different approaches. So I find them, all together at different level what we used to be. And if I, in hindsight, if we see myself, but my respecting their knowledge, their qualification, their experience, and they are very well experienced also, and they are more enthusiastic and more risk taking as compared to and what 20 years 15 years back people when they come in that position. But I feel, based on my experience and what I see, the young generation and the current and business environment, the universal principle I would recommend and I would advise, people should have a belief and in practicing and leading, like value-based, making a value-based organization. Values, these are the values what I said. These are very, not so unusual. They are very general. One can easily understand. And each and every good organization has some of the other values, maybe in different name, but the essence, in my view, remains around it. Because if we see we go in the details of this, it is all relevant, not only for organization, in our own personal life also. Beyond work, if we see and relate it, they are all relevant to us in our day-to-day routine also. So I would strongly recommend that, they should have an a goal of being a leader of value-based organization. And when they see that, yes, I want to value-based, I need to create and build on value-based organization, the commitment has to come from self. Because he has to demonstrate, he has to lead by example, he has to walk the talk, then only it can happen. So this is, though, sometimes people may say it happens now, it's so, why so much emphasis? But as you say, larger the organization, diversity, if the organization is diversity of different age group, then value-led organization or values becomes a binding force and helps the effectiveness, and many things could be possible to take the organization to next heights. So this is one thing. Then I think another quality which, say, in this, when he's in touch with people, so whatever thing I said, they are very much applicable in even in the current context, because people are people. They have similar expectation like growth, responsiveness, and they're, somebody is caring about them with, providing a good environment to work, team spirit, working together, helping them in managing the challenges or reaching to their goals, providing a facilitating environment, business environment, and processes. So when this do this, so there is another point of, there is self-awareness, embrace it. So we need to see, and this other aspect, humility. Whatever you are, whatever level of competence you have, humility and self-awareness is very important, because if you are self-aware and you tend to see what you can do better, how you can improve it, that's important. And for this, again, the practice of seeking feedback, that's also good, important for us. At regular intervals, and one has to have the practice of seeking feedback. Then when it comes on the people, empowering feedback, not empowering feedback, empowering them, delegating, empowering, guiding, helping, and in a way in which it is required, because people now doesn't require small things to be guided. They know, but it's extending and providing a direction, and communicating effectively with them, the purpose, their objectives, and the expectations, so that, and if you give them a habit of, if you are in the habit of listening, then also it is important. People feel, yes, I'm cared. He is cared, means at least people value their ideas. The boss values their ideas. He recognizes them. He helps them. He appreciates them. So all these processes are important. People are doing besides their competence, skill, level of, whatever level of education. But these are managerial abilities besides work, because no one person can do anything in an organization. He has to have a good team, strong team, and strong team. To build a strong team, these are some of the things which are necessary besides the standard business processes, systems, and this. So second, when we dealt with people, different aspect of people, another important, I would call it a requirement or a imperative is, which is little hard, and it requires perseverance, follow-up, guidance, and practice, is, building an accountability culture. You are indicating them, you are sharing them, you are, their goals, objective, business roles, performance criterias. But then there has to be accountability culture built in. And then accountability for self, that is also important. And accountability for the people in their role. So both things, but the building accountability, because every time, once it is there, then it helps in so many ways. Delivering result in time, being accountable for the performance, or being proactive, seeking help, seeking support, and so that there is no gap to the extent possible. And then whatever corrective action one can take, he can seek support, he can take guidance, and then in time, I think the things could be attempted. So I think this can be my one of the advice, that people should practice it. And so another, in the present days of competition and business situations are changing. It is like yuka, every time and every constantly changing. Parameters are different, competition is different, and new, you know so people, the manager, the current CEO, they are also having, they need to cope up with that. They also need to be having their own personal renewal. So though they are knowing all the good things and they are in touch with the current situation, but they need to be in touch with the customers, suppliers, the what is happening across, its impact, the strategic way of thinking, the strong business acumen, and all these things. It is, and when I say strong business acumen, one should have, they need to be proactive, they need to be strategic, they need to be, little being ahead of the requirement, think foresight, okay, what can go wrong, how it can be. So these are, because the situation is changing, market conditions are changing, competition is changing, so they need to be prepared, and they will be prepared only once they are in touch with the scene, they are in touch with the, and they are in touch with the people also, so they can, in right time, they can do. And while we are doing, there is always, again, it is universal thing. The quest for excellence has to be significant. Excellence in every field. Whatever we are, we need to exceed, because the competition is there. Nobody is at the same level. Everybody is trying to improve. And everybody, there is a value in it if you are differentiating yourself. You are ahead of competition. You deliver value to your customer. You are customer centric, people centric. So then you make your organization resilient. You you become strong on sustainable basis over a long term. It's not short term shortcut solution. So excellence in everything, in every processes, doing better, doing different, doing, creating along with others, all these things, whatever we discussed. And the e- excellence means, whatever you are, you need to cross. You need to be ahead, doing different. So there is no limit. There is no final line that here, if I reach, I can say I'm excellent, because it's a moving target. So this, and while we practice all this, the challenge is to make all the people in the same. That is what culture-based organization, value-based organization. So the culture in the organization, and that makes the job important, the CEO role important in the present context. Besides technical upgradation, advancement, process, product, and all that, this is all possible. And this is not so difficult. It is because there are providers of all that you can set up. But execution, along with the people, making people to work and being different, is the CEO important role. Then comes, in the present environment, the cost focus. So, which is not current. It was there since beginning. So it will always be important. You need to be managing cost in all different ways and different areas, right from raw material stage till the delivery to final consumer, internal, external, and all that. So that cost focus, in the present situation, you know, the corporate governance is becoming important. And in all the areas, you need to be credible, you need to be law abiding, you need to be ensuring that, your corporate governance standards are at a high level, because then only you can sustain your organization, take it forward. So that culture of strong governance has to be built in and has to be practiced. So I talked about and in the large organization, or in even in the medium sized organization, because you need to empower people.
Yeah.
You need to delegate, you need to, so there is a need to have a good system and processes. You, without system and processes, you cannot delegate, you cannot empower, and if you keep everything centralized with you, you cannot grow. And you cannot have good people with you. So one should be, in a, we may call it professional, but it is a basic thing that good organization should have their good system processes, which keeping customer in mind, keeping people in mind, and keeping all these values which we said, they should be value adding, they should be, not impacting the speed, the response time, the reaction time, and all these things. So, and again, one more point which I can add is performance ethic, performance culture.
Yeah.
Yes, people are all knowledgeable, they are qualified, they want to do good things, best things, they are capable. But then to make the organization performing, delivering result in a professional manner, and with, whatever we discussed. So performance ethic, performing culture, identifying, communicating them, who is performing, who is not performing, rewarding them as per the performance, helping them, the underperformer, to grow, to come up, to become in the next level. So these are all the performance ethic, and the performance management helps to drive. So if you do all these things, you build our people, approaches good, and you get that, you know, attraction, people attraction. And then probably everyone desires to have, my place of work has to be a great place of work for people. I need to be a good, if you want to attract good people, you need to have good practices, good people management practices. So the, whether it's small or big organization do have this, but the challenge, as I said, the incumbent and the new CEO, the new manager, he needs to take it forward. He cannot remain, because there are other things, and there is, the times are changing, things are evolving. So he has to also play his role and take it forward to the next level. So that's a constant thing which a person has to keep pursuing. And he has to have, besides self-awareness and, being proactive, far-sighted, strategic, he he needs to be, also in touch with the
People.
people and the customer.
Okay.
So relationship management, in touch with the people and customer, approachability, and, talking to them, understanding them. So that is also, he needs to find time for this. And if he's in touch with a different level of people, again it helps in, people connect and people loyalty for the organization, and they become, these are intangible things which people cannot measure it, but it has an significant advantage to the organization. And organization means the CEO, because he is the person who has to deliver result to his stakeholders. So when we see, I think when I was in Hindalco, I think we evolved in a very simple approach, and that we given, and it becomes very effective in my view, and I practice it and I liked it, and I keep advocating it whenever I get a chance and I share. So we call it, and I modified a little bit later, but it is called 3C plus 2S. So people, it is easy to relate, easy to remember, easy to communicate. 3C, if you are interested to know, 3C is, one is customer. So all aspects around customer, whatever we talked about, it covers the customer. Where the market and whatever aspect of customers, caring, customer centricity, brand, all aspect of it. So one is on customer, including all market. Customer means market and customer, consumer and influence. You have all aspect of around this. Then come cost. So I touched upon cost. So, and one can easily understand cost in every action, and how direct, indirect, and the cost management. When we say cost, the cost focused, managing cost, in line with the business objective, how to manage it, how to remain cost competitive, and how to be, you remain as a cost, as a competitive advantage. So the second element is cost across all function in the business. It is not only direct cost or this. Every activity has a cost. So you need to be, each and every person has to be sensitive. It is not only for the leaders. What I am telling, 3C plus 2S, it can relate to all the levels. So second is cost. Third comes cash, cash flow. So when you say cash flow, it starts all the things, whichever are one can easily understand. Cash flows are, receivables, sales, working capital, capital investment, capex investment, and then ultimately it starts from EBITDA, or then interest. So like cash flow, we mean cash flow, but it starts from profitability till working capital and capital expenditure, capex. So these are the three. Then 2S. In 2S, one is sustainability. So sustainability in the present days, it includes all, like environment, like, every other thing which is required to make the business sustainable. And system and processes. And we talked about system and process, criticality of system and process in each area. And whether it's HR or finance or marketing or system, so that it helps the team, and you can empower, you can delegate, people can work, they connect.
Yeah, that puts it all in one kind of formula.
So we become 3C plus 2S. And if you see that these three, every member in the organization at all levels, they can connect. Because in each of the role, they are some way or connected or having a bearing on this, one of the few of the elements, not all. So some are having a cost. A cost, I said, it is not direct or indirect. If a person is doing an activity, there is a cost attached. If we do the same activity twice, thrice, and some activities are redundant, there is a cost. He can say, howsoever small it is. And small things add up. So this is how we linked our performance goals around this, right from the top CEO position or the MD to me, to down the line, functional heads, this, and then managers, staff. Everybody can connect, and it became a common language. It may not be the same criteria for everyone. If it's a profit center head, then profit is a criteria under cash flow or one of the C's. Customer is a criteria for them. But if he's internal, like a manager in plant, then customer for him is internal customer. So people can connect. So internal customerizations and all that thing, system perfection. So this is how this 3C plus 2S are important. I advocate and easy to understand, people can, and relevant. And if you include whatever good practices, it can come up within 3C plus 2S. It's quite comprehensive. I added one more implement, 3C plus 2S, with a clear, is along with the people.
Okay.
So P is one. So one has to say, okay, along with the people and based on culture, building organizational culture. So these are not in this 3C plus 2S, but if you see, it comes under system and processes. You can cover in sustainability.
Yeah.
And one more point in besides this is risk management.
Okay.
Is the new dimension, because corporate governance and this, one has to have a good risk management process, because the things are changing, and it is not advised. Nobody will like the risk comes suddenly, and they are not prepared, and you cannot respond if it comes suddenly. So you need to have, in some cases it is mandatory now, कि each could say listed company should have a risk management process, but that is good. People can say we have, but the thing is it a risk-based management culture? It is just not filling the gaps as a process or as system, but making a culture risk-based is that the risk-based practices, the framework needs to travel down the line, and concerned person has to think or take decision based on ensuring the risk management from that level. And then it becomes a total risk management for the organization. So that is, and that becomes very, it requires a lot of perseverance, follow-up, guiding, helping, holding hands, communicating. But that I've seen, and it covers whether it is a market risk, whether it is a business risk, whether it is a strategic competition, you take cost risk or anything. So these are some of the new things and new focus areas, which probably people find. I'm sure people should find it relevant. But if they practice it, and they practice it in their own way, and make it a strong competence and sort of an strength, then I think they are leading a good, and they are an effective leader.
Okay, that's great. That's so many pieces of advice. I think people can watch it again and again and learn more each time. That's amazing. Thank you for
Thank you.
coming on the show. It's been great to have you.
Thank you very much.